We've arrived at day 30 of the government shutdown. Good morning. It's the national briefing with me, Kelly Nash, and the chickens are coming home to roost. Look, this is not a fun subject to talk about. People are going to be seriously affected, seriously hurt beginning this weekend as the benefits run out November 1st. And I'm looking, first off, I think it's important to frame the discussion properly, just because I've heard so many people misinterpret what this is really about. We'll just go with Chuck Schumer's premise. This is really about the health care insurance premiums. Okay, here's the reality of what Chuck Schumer's talking about. Obamacare was passed, also known as the Affordable Care Act, back in 2010. The Democrats controlled everything. The Democrats set the premiums then. During COVID, there was a move to actually grow government. Surprise, surprise. And the subsidies originally were enhanced. We'll use the word enhanced. Subsidies first came in March of 2021 called the American Rescue Plan. That was supposed to be for 1 year. Then in the legendary Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, they then voted again to keep those enhanced subsidies for 3 more years under the premise that people were struggling during COVID and the American people needed extra help to make their insurance premiums. But by 2025, the COVID crisis would be over, according to the Democrats. So now the premiums are set to reset to what the Democrats had originally said they should be. Now they're acting as if this is a crisis, that this is a financial cliff that the American people are about to fall off. It's the cliff that you set up. You designed this, Democrats. You're the ones who voted on it in 2021, and then you voted on it again in 2022. And now here we are in 2025, and you are creating a crisis. Now, Chuck Schumer famously said that every day gets better for us. Dana Bash, I'm saying it right now, right? I used to call her Dana. It's Dana. Dana Bash on CNN a couple of weeks ago asked Senator Mark Kelly about that.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said this week, quote, every day gets better for Democrats the longer this shutdown goes on.
I don't think this is better for anybody. I mean, this isn't better for government workers. This isn't better for us. This isn't better for the Republicans.
One of the few times I would agree with Mark Kelly. Let's go now to that actual speech where Chuck Schumer said that from the floor, that every day is getting better for the Democrats. He actually did say something truthful that day.
Americans don't like being used as pawns. Even if they're not one subject to being held hostage, they don't like watching it happen.
Well, now we know that it is the Democrats. I say we now know. I knew it all along. I think most of you who listen would have said you knew it before it even began, that that's what this was about. Who are we going to use as the pawns? For some on the right, it was really offensive that they were using the military. They don't, when you start messing with the military, the people on the right get very sensitive. Now, for the people on the left, when you start talking about specifically single mothers trying to feed their children, that's who they're messing with. Now, and we now know that this is part of the strategy. How do we know? Because we've had numerous Democrats admit to it, including the Democrat whip, Catherine Clark, who said this.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible. And of course, there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously. But it is one of the few leverage times we have.
There you go. This is our leverage. We have to use people. And as we talked about yesterday, there's so many people on the WIC program, so many people on the SNAP program, so many people on the EBT program. Section 8 housing is being affected. But let's just focus on, again, their favorite subject matter, single mothers trying to feed their children. And I think that there's a distinction that a lot of people don't actually get. Let's listen to this single mom in Illinois, soon to become a former Democrat, if you watched her TikTok video, talking about how disappointed she is in the Democrats, but how disappointed she is in the American people in general who don't understand her struggle.
I'm just mind blown at the fact that these ignorant people think that just because we receive food stamps that we don't work. I work full time and I do Uber Eats deliveries on my days off. It's just crazy how you guys think of us like we're beneath you or something. No, fix that, because we're hardworking people too.
All right. And now to her point, she's correct. If you're getting the Affordable Care Act, you have to pay something for it. It might be not a lot, but you're paying something for that. If you are somebody who doesn't work at all, you got Medicaid. You don't get off your duff at all. And there's obviously some legitimate reasons for people. And a lot of us also point to several families that we might actually know about that don't work as a choice and just let the American people pay for everything. But for her and a lot of other people, they do work. Now, like I looked it up in Illinois, if you want to qualify to get in on some of these subsidies, believe it or not, in Illinois, and because the cost of living is a little bit higher up there, single mom, 2 children, $35.51 a month is the max you can make. In other words, if you're making like $40,000 a year in Illinois, you're eligible to get help with food. That's what she's talking about. So she's making probably somewhere around $18 an hour. She's working a 40-hour work week. Then she's got a second job where she's an Uber Eats delivery driver. And it's still not getting to I think it's $42.5 or something like that a year. She's not making $42.5 a year. So she's eligible for extra benefits to help feed the kids and herself. That's going to go away starting this weekend. That's who they're using. In other words, I was reminded of when my son was younger, we used to watch Beauty and the Beast. And I'm reminded of the Beast, in this instance, a.k.a. Chuck Schumer.
Fine. Then go ahead and starve! If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all.
That's exactly the way he's looking at it. If they don't want to come along with the Democrats, then they're just going to go ahead and starve. That's how Chuck Schumer feels. Now, John Thune yesterday gave an impassioned speech on the floor, and he was calling out the Democrats, I think, in the most proper of ways. He's pointing to the Republicans and how much they have been trying to get the government back open.
13 times people over here voted to fund SNAP. 13 times they voted to fund WIC. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out 29 days in that, there might be some consequences.
Yeah, there's going to be some big consequences. Here's what I'm hoping for. Donald Trump is scheduled to return here in the next 24 hours. He'll be back and I want him to meet with John Thune, meet with the leadership, and tell them use the nuclear option. Now, some of you may bristle at that, but just a quick reminder. And I'm not talking about Harry Reid. I'm talking about Donald. I'm talking about us. I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about last month. We used the nuclear option. Am I right? I say last month. It was actually a couple of weeks ago that the nuclear option was used in order to approve all of the Donald Trump appointees that were being held up by the Democrats. Once the government shut down, they used the nuclear option, so it was just a simple majority vote to get them approved. We've just used it. We can use it again and do it in a big, dramatic fashion. Donald Trump is the master of getting people's attention on things. Let them know that you are bending over backwards to feed the single moms, to feed their children, to take care of all of this, because we don't want chaos in the streets. We don't want the people bum rushing the Walmarts. We don't want this. We want law and order. Now, do we have bigger work to do? Absolutely. I mean, Americans, a lot of them apparently are like drug addicts in the sense that they are addicted to free government money. We need to start curbing that. But you can't just go cold turkey on this. We need to, and I think that the big, beautiful bill actually addresses this, puts in the work requirements and or volunteer requirements. This is a great opportunity to ease people into it, not try to cold turkey them into it. You look like a hero because you're saving their programs, while the Democrats, well, as you saw, I mean, the last poll that I saw, where is it right here? According to this, the government shutdown, the Republicans in the last week have gone up 8 points amongst independents and 12 points amongst the GOP base. The American people are seeing the Democrats for who they really are, mean-spirited abusers of the public.